So, for majority of my youth, I can say that I wasn't really an attractive lad. I wasn't really a good looking bloke. And I think that's affected how I see people and how I trust people because of how I was perceived when I was younger, because of how I looked. I was made fun of a lot for my looks, and it's carried on to my adulthood where I simply cannot trust anyone. And it's purely because of how I was treated based on how I looked, simply for the stuff I couldn't control. Although I could control most things, like working out, which I do, and other stuff, my height is something I couldn't control. I'm short, 5'7". My face, I'm not really appealing, I'm not attractive, and that just affected me growing up because I got made fun of often for my looks. I was targeted for my looks mostly, and it just made me insecure. And I realized I was ugly the moment people started coming at me for my looks and how I looked as a person. And that is hard. It's hard to know that you're not the attractive one, you're not the good looking one. And even sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror and like I think to myself, oh, I look alright. I have to realise that maybe I don't look alright. Maybe I'm just ugly. Maybe I'm sub 5. Maybe I'm just not the attractive one. And to be honest, I low-key stopped caring. As I grew older, I stopped caring that the fact that I probably wouldn't find anyone and that people find me unattractive. And that shit just started to blow over me because I stopped caring about trying to impress birds on the street, trying to act different for some birds and shit like that. I just stopped caring. It was like, what's the point, right? People already see you as unattractive. There's no point in trying to push yourself out there and trying to make yourself known to the world when the world doesn't want you to be known because you are not appealing to that world. And I don't think my friends understand that. I don't think they understand when I say I'm unattractive. I am unattractive. They don't have to worry about that stuff because they're not unattractive. They have girls that walk up to them. They have girls that probably say they're pretty and shit like that. I've never had any girl say I'm pretty or attractive or anything like that. So they wouldn't understand. They just say, oh, you should be yourself and blah, blah, blah. But that's just wrong. That's wrong. I've been myself to majority of girls and they just end up blocking me and removing me over time. I remember this one girl that my friend wanted me to add, and she didn't really care about having a conversation with me. She was more over my friend, and I'm just there just like, like the only time she would text me is when she would ask why my friend would remove her, and I'd say I don't know, and then she'd be like, well, can you add him back? And I'd say, okay, sure. And I would ask him if she was gonna add her back, and he said he'd think about it. But she wouldn't talk to me, and it would be like, why am I even trying? I would try and start a conversation and it wouldn't get anywhere. Like, I was just like this little messenger. I was like a little dove just sending messages to my friend and that girl every time he would just unadd her. And that's when I knew I just, I wasn't the attractive one. And that's life. That's life. I stopped caring about this whole dating shit. And if I'm going to find someone and all this look shit, I know I'm unattractive. So changing won't really do that much for me, face-wise. I could go gym. I could go gym, work out as much as I like, but at the end of the day, that's not going to change anything. That's not going to change anything. And I think I just accepted that. So I'm gonna just go back to that story about what actually happened. So I think if I remember, um, this girl was from Australia, and my friend was like, "Hey, I got a girl you may want to talk to," and I was like, "Sure, I guess I'll give it a go." And he gives me her snap, and I guess we kind of start talking, and it's going all right, but I can tell she doesn't really want to talk to me. Even though I was trying to be nice and talk to her, which I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should have just blocked her from the start, just removed her. I could tell that she was more interested in my friend because, as I said, every time he would unadd her, she would ask why, and I'd say I don't know, and she'd ask me to add him back, and I'd be like, all right, I'd go and ask him, and he would add her back, and I guess they would probably stop talking for a little bit, and then stop talking, and this would be a reoccurrence sometimes. I think this only happened like 3 or 4 times, and yeah, I was just a little dove messenger for them, just scouting out when he would unadd her. That was me, and that that gave me all I need to know, that I wasn't attractive, because I feel like if you are attractive as a person, let's be honest, if you're an attractive person, people would want to put in the effort to talk to you, which most people don't do that. So half of the time I'm just stuck by myself, constantly alone, and just by myself. And I guess being alone built up this like thought of solitude, where I just started showing antisocial behavior, where I just wouldn't trust people. And even now with the people I talk to, I don't trust them. And I know that most people always want something from me. They don't really want to start a genuine conversation with me. It's either if they just want to do something, or which I guess playing, if they're asking to play, is kind of like doing something, but it's like I'm always having to ask first and do everything, and no one really wants to talk to me, so I'm just there, like, okay. And that's how it is being the unattractive one. People won't talk to you, people won't give you the day of light, people will lie to you and say, oh yeah, we're friends, but they won't really show it. You can see it through people's actions. I can see it through people's actions. That's how I know I'm not an attractive person. And that's something I just had to accept growing up, where I saw all my friends and people I know like getting girls easily, and I was just the ugly duckling that was struggling, and that brought down my confidence a lot, to the point where I just gave up. Like, I didn't see a need, and so now I just stay up at night and do nothing but probably just lay in my bed, listen to music, and just accept that this is life, and I will forever be ugly, alone, and there's nothing I can do. And I stopped caring. Like, it's not that deep to me anymore. Like, being single, I just don't care anymore. If that's my life and how it's gonna be for the rest of my life, then hey, I mean, you know, that's how it is. And I think I'm fine with that. Knowing that I'm ugly, knowing that I probably won't find anyone, and that's cool. That's chill. As I said, I don't really care. So that's life, and you just have to deal with it. There was also this one other time Well, there's been multiple times where girls would try. I remember being in PS4 parties with girls and my friends, and the girls would kind of stab at me and make fun of me to impress the boys, and they'd be like, dude, how miserable do you have to be to do that kind of shit? It's like I was always second every single time when it came to people. I was always second. I was always just this little puppet show for people to stab at and make fun of. And I guess that's the reason why I just don't need to trust people, because of how they treated me, purely because of how I looked. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm low-key kind of tired. If anyone's watching this, thank you. I love you. And I hope you have a good rest of your morning, evening, night, or whatever you are. Peace out, dudes.